Welcome back to Geo, a path to success. And we are honored here with Stephen Groves. And, it's just somebody to really listen to his knowledge. It's just a blessing for all of you to be able to get a little bit into this man's head and know what he's accomplished. And part of our channel is to show people that if you really put your mind behind something, you can accomplish it. A lot of people always say, I won't believe it till I see it. And it's actually the opposite. You have to believe it, then you'll see it. So I'm trying to have people understand this. So without further ado, Mr. Gross, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you're at now?
Sure, I'm happy to help. My background is unusual for someone in the financial services business in that I graduated from college with a intention to go to New York, be an investment banker, have all of the glitz and glamour of buying and selling companies at a massive scale. What I realized when I went up there was that I was going to be locked in a closet for 5 or 6 years, pumping out spreadsheets for other people that would be doing interesting things. But I would be, in effect, a worker bee, making little money, working long hours, helping another company grow as I learned my tools and techniques. I decided that that was not the direction I wanted to go and that I wanted to be in the action quicker than that. So I wound up by accident interviewing with an international accounting firm that was looking to build a consulting practice. And they were willing to take a chance on me as a young graduate, joining a team of very experienced, talented people that were devoted towards helping businesses grow, be more prosperous, lower cost, take them through liquidity events, and help create value and wealth for their owners. And I carried coffee, took notes, did whatever a young, green, raw person would do and learn from them over time. In 4 years, I was teaching courses and writing courses. In 6 years, I was national director of that service for the international firm because it fit what my goals were, and that was being able to sit down with management, understand what their goals were, help them understand where they were, strength and weakness, develop programs to strengthen the weak parts, and to figure out where they could go in terms of strategy and ultimately turning it into an IPO or a strategic sale or a management buyout, leading them through that process of starting, growing, and winding up in a place that have created family wealth.
Right.
Over the years, I dealt with those entrepreneurs 2 or 3 businesses. As they started and sold, they started something else and sold. And they kept that process going. And I became part of their team and in doing that on a recurring basis.
This was still in New York.
No, this was actually in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And Atlanta.
Okay.
So I split time back and forth. And at a point in time, that company in the great merger of CPA firms back in the 80s merged with a bigger firm. And I elected to buy the Southeast rights to the practice from that and start a regional firm, which became HOB Gross Collins, which became a CPA firm based in Atlanta, doing a lot of work with foreign companies, with domestic operations in the U.S., with young, growing companies coming out of the ground. And that's where I connected first with the financial services distribution world through representing 2 executives, Art Williams and Bo Adams, that founded the A.O. Williams Company.
Right.
So I was part of their strategic team at the very beginning of that company. Hubert was one of the early recruits, so he became kind of a star in that world. And I watched as he brought in network marketing into the process of helping middle-class families, everyday people do financial planning with simple financial instruments. And their basic theme was, by term, invest the difference, as opposed to spending a lot of money on a very little amount of insurance and having the insurance company keep their money and call it whole life insurance.
Right.
So A.O. Williams basically broke up that the insurance industry had put into place and said you can do it more nimbly, you can get much more insurance for less, and you can put money aside and grow it on your own behalf.
Wow.
So in the context of that, they were selling hundreds of millions of dollars of mutual funds to their customers that were buying term and investing the difference in these mutual funds. They decided that it made more sense to have a captive group of mutual funds that were specific to A.L. Williams. So they formed a mutual fund group called the Common Sense Trusts.
Okay.
8 funds, different type, core funds, long-term, large cap, small cap, international, money market, etc. But 8 separate funds. And I was asked to be on that initial board of directors as an independent board member, helping them grow that along with chancellors of business schools from around the country that became board members along with me. One of my favorite board members was Alan Shepard, the astronaut.
Oh, wow.
So he and I became close friends, and we spent a lot of time visiting he and Louise in Pebble Beach, where they lived, and playing golf out there and becoming good friends with him.
Wow.
So that was a very special part of what came with being on that board of directors.
Right.
Over the years, as you know, A.L. Williams sold to Primerica, which ultimately became part of Citigroup. So, so that had happened, and Hubert had started his own company, World Marketing Alliance, which became, when purchased by Aegon, World Financial Group Transamerica.
Right.
So down the road, when Hubert finished his non-compete period with Aegon, he decided to start again, Hedgeman Group International, HGI. And he came to me and said, Steve, you're the only financial executive that I know that's been with it from the first. The industry, what we do, I want you to be my partner and help me grow HGI.
Wow. So when he was in World Financial Group, you had no part of that?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you started back with HGI?
Right.
Okay.
So we reconnected and basically worked for 4 or 5 years without compensation, knowing that we were building a company for value.
Right.
And the truth about HGI is it knows its ultimate value is to create size, scale, and create something so financially lucrative to the agents that join it that it grows the company behind it. So you put the money out, have them earn the money, be successful, and the company will be worth something in its wake.
Right.
So it took us 6 years or so for the momentum of growth to actually create value for HGI. And from that point forward, it's been like a hockey stick. So it became successful enough that it attracted the attention of a Dallas-based consolidator called Integrity Marketing Group. And they approached Hubert. They're larger than American Airlines. They're larger than United Healthcare. They're larger than many of the companies that are out there that are public companies today.
Wow.
And so it is a building company with an enormous amount of momentum that we're lucky enough to be a part of.
Yeah.
It also helps that out of 200 companies that they own, we're in the top 5 in terms of contribution to bottom line. And
wow, out of 200 companies, top 5. That's amazing.
It is, and it's something to be proud of. But
yes.
It's also a testament to the fact that Hubert's done it. This is now his 3rd time. So there's nothing new in this. He knows that rewarding the agents in the field, offering products that help normal people, Main Street versus Wall Street, grow and become financially independent is a success connection that can't be minimized or duplicated by others. Only he has been part of 3 multi-billion-dollar market cap companies in this space. And there's a reason for that. Is that he's always looked at helping the agent succeed before the company, as opposed to having everybody work for the company and maybe they'll succeed. We'll see what happens.
Right.
It's in reverse order. The customer succeeds through the agent, and HGI follows in their success.
Right. And I love what you said, because the Bible says that there's nothing new under the sun. And yeah, I mean, he's done it once, twice, three times now, and it's beautiful to see. And one of the things that brought my wife and I to HGI that really impressed us was the first time we heard Mr. Humphrey talk at the last Vegas convention. And he said that if you are here to make money, you can just stand up and turn around. If you're here to help others, the money will come. I was like, wow, I love that. Because you hear it a lot, that stop chasing money. Let money chase you. You dedicate yourself on helping. And it's a principle, what you sow, you reap.
Yep.
So that really impressed me. So is that something that you always liked about him as well? Or what got you close to him?
No, absolutely. Well, a number of things drew me to him. Number one, his experience, his success, and his vision. Those were very clear and very obviously compelling. But beyond that, knowing that helping others creates success for yourself.
Yes.
And so he's always had that in his mantra. And I have been part of, and lucky to have been part of, some very successful companies over the years. And the pattern tends to be that everybody sacrifices, works hard. In 10, 20 years, the cumulative success of the business creates value. And that after 20 years plus, you then cash in a liquidity event and everybody winds up taking their chips and goes home. That's never been how this works. This works by helping people make a lot of cash flow personally first, supporting their growth. We have agents making multi-millions of dollars in their role with HGI.
Wow.
And it's not something that is discouraged, it's encouraged.
Right.
The more that the field makes, the faster the company grows.
Right.
So one of the things that in my past I noticed is that the CEO of these companies in the midst of growth are sitting there making a salary and benefits. And they're the highest paid person in the company. Everybody else kind of pegs down from that and keeps working to create more value, to create success, raises, etc. But the CEO is the king.
Right.
This is the reverse.
Wow.
The agents in the field are the kings.
Wow.
And Hubert is known to be a king maker. That's his special genius, is being a king maker. And the more kings he can create, the more successful HGI becomes. And that's a very rare talent to look at it that way.
Yes, yes. So I wasn't far when we were talking prior when I said that to me, the Humphreys are like the kings of old, that when they would go to war, they'd be right up front with their people, supporting them. So that's...
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, taking bullets and swords ahead of the rest of the team, it's very important that we recognize that the customer rules and supporting the agents that are creating the circumstances to let the customer win what is the value system.
Right, right. And in between HCI and A.L. Williams, you also helped, I believe, WebMD and was it
Home Depot.
Home Depot? Yes. Can you tell just a little bit about that?
Home Depot is an interesting story. My accounting firm and consulting firm was representing a company called Handy Andy out of Chicago.
Yeah.
It was a major chain, and we did a lot of the operational work and auditing assistance. So in Atlanta, Home Depot was basically run by, didn't exist, but the executives, Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank, came from a company called Handy Dan.
Okay.
Handy Dan was a large subsidiary of W.R. Grace, which was a major consolidator at the time of businesses all over the place. They went into bankruptcy. They were taken over by a trustee who decided, on a Friday afternoon that every executive of every subsidiary making over $100,000 would get fired.
Wow.
So Bernie and Arthur on a Friday found out that they were fired from Handy Dan.
Wow.
On Monday morning, they're sitting at the Waffle House on Cobb Parkway in North Atlanta, Georgia, going, what are we going to do the rest of our life? They said, well, let's do it again. Let's do it bigger and better.
Wow.
And they knew that we had just acquired a substantial amount of money to finance the growth of Handy Andy. He said, well, let's go talk to Steve and his team and see if they can help us get up and running and get started. So they did, and we became the operational consultants for Home Depot, helped them set up their point of sale, inventory control, uh, supply chain management systems, jury rig, IBM 360s, and a daisy chain to make it operate, similar to what we were doing with Andy.
Right.
And that embedded us as to be part of their team. We wound up doing the family office planning for Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank, and later on helped Arthur set up this foundation. And ironically, down the road, when Arthur and Bernie retired from Home Depot, Arthur became the owners of PGA Superstore and the Atlanta Falcons.
Wow.
So in the role of helping him set up all the operations for the Falcons and his foundation, he wound up signing a $140 million contract with a quarterback named Michael Vick. And Michael had been rookie with him and had gotten a $60 million contract that he had basically run through fairly carelessly.
Wow.
And Arthur said, Michael, in order to feel comfortable about this, I need you to have a financial advisor, and I want you to go talk to Steve Gross. So we became Michael's financial advisor, which was a wonderful role to have with him, and he was a great client until the whole circumstance with his association with people from home, his, in effect, posse, blew up into dogfighting, and it was a Gothic tragedy. And I remember asking Michael at the time, what happened here? Why couldn't you have been more like Tiger Woods? Not knowing what was going to happen to Tiger.
Oh, right.
But anyway, it was one of those circumstances where you had something that you really enjoyed and trusted and became part of the family that didn't work out. And just an experience that one might never have expected to show up, but it showed up out of the representing Home Depot in the early days.
Wow.
WebMD, another situation. I was issuing the thought was, well, doctors don't have internet. They don't have computers.
Right.
I said, well, how can we help them get one? All of them have televisions. So let's go find something that we can attach to the television that will give them a screen that would create a portal.
The vision.
So we went out and found a device that had been invented and was being sold called the Web TV. And it was basically a Hayes 56K baud modem attached to the television that brought in the internet and displayed it on a TV screen. We said, okay, let's fill that TV screen up with things that doctors want. We'll have their files for the EKG, but we'll also have CMA, their educational programs available. We'll have stocks, we'll have sports, we'll have whatever it is, and create a fully integrated portal and charge them a subscription. And so that became the genesis of a new idea. And we decided to call it WebMD instead of WebTV.
Right.
And the company paid $25,000 for the URL. And then we started, the CEO started making it more valuable by linking other medical ideas, concepts, new inventions to the WebTV site. And it became significant in terms of what it was offering. It was running out of cash.
Wow.
So we had, at the time, the medical device business, the Holter monitors, was making a lot of money. So we had this company making a lot of money along with the Web TV idea or WebMD idea that was taking money. So we said, let's take the device company public. So we brought in 5 investment bankers and they said, gosh, we can take it public. We'll raise you $25 million or so for a percentage of the company. But that's so boring. This WebMD idea, oh my goodness, that could be worth a lot. So their advice, all 5 of them, said, sell the profitable company, invest in the WebMD company, and that one will be worth an enormous amount of money. We thought, gosh, that's crazy. This is an idea.
Right.
It's a concept.
Wow.
But that's what we did. We went ahead and sold the profitable company, invested in the WebMD idea, brought in other investors that invested in it, and maybe a year and a half later, we're running out of cash. So the idea was the CEO and his COO flew out to Redmond, Washington, cold called Microsoft.
Wow.
And said, we've got an idea. We want you to fund this. And they sat in a room with a 28-year-old MBA that was listening to 10 pitches a day, bored out of his mind, and, kind of yawning as they went through their pitch. While they're doing it, the conference room opens up. Steve Ballmer, who was CEO of Microsoft at the time, stuck his head in and said, what's your space? Medical portal. Where are you from? What's the name of your company? WebMD. Good to have you boys. And left. That was it. So the CEO and COO came back to Atlanta feeling defeated because they had an episode with a board screener. And we kind of sat around going, well, what are we going to do now? The investors had reached their limits and it was looking gloomy. And so we got a phone call. Microsoft called and said, we're in.
Wow.
150 million we want to put in.
150 million.
And we went, oh my goodness. So what happened then is that event circulated among Silicon Valley.
Oh.
And at the time, someone named Jim Clark, who had taken Netscape public, heard about it. And he had taken another company public called Healthion, which was a health services company.
Okay.
Took it public at $750. And a year and a half later, it's trading. It's a big failure for these internet guys that blow it out on every deal. So Jim Clark sent his COO to Atlanta to see what the hell's going on with this hot company that Microsoft's investing in. So a deal was crafted around the pool of the CEO to do a 50-50 split. So the public company would issue 100% of the shares that were public to WebMD for a 50-50 merger. Within a month, the $7 stock went to 70.
70. Wow.
And this company with a few $1 million of trailing revenue was suddenly worth $4.5 billion with $80.
Wow. With a 25,000 investment.
No, it was no.
For the URL, I mean.
Original. So at the end of the day, I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm a professional. I deal with the growing companies. I know what value is all about. My career's over. Because I had no idea what things were worth now.
Wow.
No multiple that I could ever conceive of. No valuation process. And I'm a licensed business appraiser. None of the standards that I use could ever justify that. Suddenly we were there.
Wow.
Going, oh my goodness. So my skill set is now obsolete. because I'm dealing with hyper values that make no sense financially. And I realized that there was a new world. And ironically, as a result of that, the CEO of the company, who is now 27, is on the cover of Fortune magazine. And the title of it is The King of the Internet Bubble. Mm-hmm. Now, that company has gone on to succeed and do well, but it was one of those events that wake you up to the fact that a lot of things move in different directions for different reasons.
Right.
And this one just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And a lot of people did really well with it.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
And are you a believer?
Yes.
Do you believe that your faith has something to do with a lot of your success?
Yes, I do. I think that whenever you've given yourself to God or your choice, but that connection that's always there, but now is connected and final, leads you in directions, if you listen, to good decisions for the right reasons.
That's right. If you listen. My wife has we did a podcast where she talks about how that connection is like a phone booth that you have to him, to the source, to the creator. And very important what you said, if you listen. Key point here, people. Sometimes we say he's not speaking, but it's not that he's not speaking, it's that we're not listening. So I really love that. I love that. And one last thing, if you were able to talk to your younger self, what advice would you give yourself, knowing what you know now?
Great question. I don't know that I would have done anything different. In fact, I feel very fortunate to have been led by events and by opportunities in the career path that I have chosen and taken. But I would reinforce the fact that a lot of life is not, you can't plan. You've got to take a look at opportunity, be realistic with yourself about what your skills are, what your dreams are, and what kind of investment in success you're willing to make. And if you have those under your belt and you're in touch with it, you should make good decisions along the way. But don't ignore opportunities, even if they seem off the wall or outside of your game plan. Don't be rigid with that, because life will take you places that will surprise you.
Right.
But always look at being valuable in any circumstance that you're in, and it will be rewarded with success coming back.
Well, I could not have said it any better myself. It's an honor to have had you on our podcast. I really appreciate your time. I always tell the people that give us that opportunity that, to me, time is way more valuable than money. You could lend me $1,000 and I could pay you back. But the time that you've given me, when we're on our deathbed, we can't be, hey, can you give me back those couple of hours? So what we give, there's just no getting back. So I really, really, truly appreciate you spending the time to talk to us, to talk to our viewers, and give them some very, very beautiful advice. And I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you for the opportunity of sitting down with you and talking through some of these things, because I believe that sharing the experiences and lessons of others can help a lot of people avoid mistakes and heading in the wrong direction by your involvement. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And one last thing, an advice that you can give our subscribers, especially the young ones that are maybe thinking of coming into the financial field, joining HGI maybe, what advice would you give them?
Look for an opportunity that doesn't have caps on the upside. You don't want to enter anything where the reward of doing a good job in your chosen field has a limit to how well you can succeed. That's one of the things that I think stands out with HGI, and it stood out with the other companies as well. Hubert was making 5 times more than the chairman of Citigroup when he was part of Citigroup with the Primerica operation.
Wow.
And that is totally unusual.
Yeah, unheard of.
That's right. So look for circumstances that don't have limits. Also look for circumstances that have enough opportunity to make money. The difference between Hubert's efforts and activities working with a multi-level company called Amway, very successful at it, learned the tricks of the trade and how it works, but there was no margin in the products that he sold.
Right.
So there really wasn't any money he could make at it.
Right.
And when he came into something like financial services, which has a lot of margin for good reason, insurance companies are willing to pay for a policy that you bring to them in a very large amount, because it's much more expensive for them to open an office, hire a general agent, recruit young people, have them learn their trade, spend all the money supporting that before they sell anything.
Right.
They'd much rather say, we'll give you X if you give me Y. And that's the business we're in, is giving them what they want at a price that rewards us for bringing it to them. That's an unusual circumstance. So look for opportunities that give you no limit on your upside, that reward success in what you do, and that have a support system around you that can teach you, mentor you, encourage you, empower you to do more of what you want to do. So the combination of support, opportunity, financial success coming together is where you want to be. HGI, in my opinion, is the best I've seen in my career.
Amazing. Great words. Thank you so much.
Sure thing.